So good morning, students. Our next topic of hoops is that is concept of C++ programming, or we can say that of concept of OOPS. So basically, object-oriented programming is built upon a second engineering foundation whose elements are collectively called by the object models. The object-oriented programming that imposes the principle of abstraction, encapsulation, data hiding, inheritance, overloading, and polymorphism. So nothing is new about these principles. The important feature of the object-oriented programming is that these elements are brought together in the different ways. So the object-oriented programming can be formally be defined as a method of implementation in which programs are organized, or we can say that the collection of different objects. Because when we are talking about the object-oriented programming, we always think about the different features of C++ programming. C++, or whether we are talking about the concept of C++ programming. So we have different concepts. One is object. So this is first concept or feature. We can say that object-oriented programming. So basically, what it is exactly, an object is a entity that has different state, different behavior, and different identity. So the structure and the behavior of object is similar, that defined their common class. So that the term instance and object are interchangeable. So in object we have different characteristics. So first characteristics in object, that is state. State of an object encompasses all the usual properties, or we can say that the static property of the object, plus the concept of dynamic programming, that the value of each properties that act as a state. And second one is behavior. So behavior that tells the so basically that tells the how it will act, how object will act, or we can say that react to the object, that world in term of its state changes, or we can say that the message passes. So with this state of object can now be defined as the state of an object that represent the result of the behavior. Third one, that is identity. So the identity of an object is that property which distinguish it from all other objects. So this is all about the we can say that the concept of object. So second, that is in object, that is operations on objects. Operations on object. So we have different operations that we performed on an object. So first, that is modifier. So modifier, that an operation that alternate the state of the object. So this is a modifier. Second, that is selectors. Selector operation that access the state of the object but does not alter it. Modifier we can alter, but in the case of selector we cannot be altered. Third one, that is iterator. So an object that permits all different parts of the object to can be accessed in some well-defined order. So this is all about the concept of the, or we can say that operations of the object. So next we have, so sorry, here we have two more operations on object. That one is constructor and destructor. So constructor that creates the objects, or we can say that the initialize the its states, and destructor that frees the states of an object that are, or we can say that they destroy the object itself. So this is all about basically constructor, that is to allocate the memory to a particular object. Or destructor, when we are talking about it, that means we are destroying the memory or deallocating the memory. So this is all about the operations on objects. Third, that is relations. Third one, that is relations among objects. Relations among objects. So objects that contribute to the behavior of the system by collaborating. By collaborating collaborating with one another. So the relationship between any two objects that encompasses the assumptions that each make about the other. So including what operations can be performed and what behavior the results. So objects communicate with each other through a link, where a link defined as a physical or conceptual connection between objects. So we have some as a participant in a link, an object may play different rules. So first rule in the case of relationship among objects, that is client, or we can say that actor. So that operates on other objects but is never operated upon by other objects. Second, that is server. So that never operates upon other objects. It is only operated by the other objects. Third, that is agent. So that can be operate on the other object and be operated upon the other objects, and agents is usually created to do some work on the behalf of the actor and the other agents. So this is all about the object. Next, that is classes. Next, that is classes. So the concept of class and object are tightly interwoven. For example, we cannot talk about the object without regard of its class. So however, there are important difference between these two terms. An object is a concrete entity that exists in the time and space. So a class that represent only the abstraction, the essence of the object as it were. So thus we may speak of the class manual that which represent characteristics of the or we can say that the characteristics of the all the participants. So class, first we are talking about the class, that is interface of a class. So interface of a class that provide the outside view of the class. In that case, we are talking about the abstraction, while hiding its structure of the secret of its behavior, where we just hide the data, or with the help of different features like encapsulations. So this interface primarily consists of the declaration of all the operations that applicable to instance of this class, but it may include the declaration of other class. Other class, as well as we can say that the constants, variables, and exceptions that are needed to be complete the abstraction feature. So next, what we will perform with the help of classes, that is how we implement the class. That is implementation of a class. So implementation of a class is its inside view that encompasses the secret of its behavior. So it primarily consists of implementation of the operation that defined in the interface of the class. So interface of the class divided into the following terms. First, that is public, private, and protected. So these all are the keywords as well: private, public, and protected. So in the case of public, a part that is accessible to all the client, whether it is inside or outside, that is available for all the clients. Private, a part that is accessible only a class only, or within a class only. Second, within class. Protected, a part that is accessible to the class and its subclasses, or we can say that with the help of friend function we can call these type of access specifiers. So this is all about the class and objects. So class, we declare the class in two different ways. One is inside the class and second is outside the class. When we are talking about the inside the class, that means all the data, all the access member, all the member functions are declared within a class. A class is closed with semicolon after the compound statement. This is a symbol for closing the class, or this is a way to close the class. When we are talking about the outside the class, all the data members, in the case of outside, we just declare the functions or we call the function outside the class with the help of this operation. So this operator acts as a scope resolution operator. So with the help of this operator, we call these member functions outside the class. So these are the two ways to declare a class, whether we are talking about the inside the class or whether we are talking about the outside the class. So next, that is abstraction and encapsulation. That is abstraction and encapsulation. So the notation of abstraction and encapsulation are commonly used in human machine, that in interaction and are widely prevented in the technology oriented world in where we are living. So consider for this example, we are taking the example or VCR. So we all know about the VCR. So basically VCR, which is integrated the part of different household, we can say that in today's householding. So we make two observations. about how VCR are packed and used. So first of all other interface with a VCR are made through a button on the control panel, such as like play, forward, rewind, record, stop, etc. So the VCR is packaged in such a way that we cannot interact directly with the internal circuit. We just we don't know about the working up for play function, forward function, how it will work inside the machine. We just only press the button. Then operation will be happen on the particular disk. Next, that is the instruction manual. In the case of VCR, the instruction manual that accompanies and VCR tells us what the VCR is supposed to be do, and press button after this this section, or we press the particular button for if we want to rewind the cassette, or if we want to forward the cassette, we just have a button. Next, that is abstraction. So this is all about the encapsulation part. So simple one line definition for encapsulation, that is wrapping up of data. Just wrapping up of data. We don't know about the hidden data. We just only perform the functions. Like where we are just taking the example of VCR or VCP, whatever we are saying right now. VCR, we just know about the buttons, how it will work. We don't know about, because it's a hiding the data. We don't know about the circuit. We don't know about the circuit, how play function will perform, how forward function will perform. We just click on a button and function will be happen, and function is performed. So next, that is abstraction. Abstraction that means the dictionary meaning of abstraction that refers to the ignoring irrelevant features. In the context of object-oriented programming, word abstractions that refers to the separation between the specification of data and its implementation. So it results is better quality program and more efficient programming technique. So next, we have data hiding. So next we have the polymorphism. So polymorphism is another important feature of object-oriented programming. So polymorphism is a combination of two different words. One is poly and morphism. The word poly, that means many, and the word morphism means forms. That means for many forms. So in polymorphism, we do two different operations. One is operator overloading and function overloading. In the case of operator overloading, we just overload the operators, whether we are overloading plus operator, minus operator, plus operator, whether it is unary operator, binary operator. In the case of operator overloading, we will perform these programming part in next few topics, because operator overloading is a one we can say that one complete topic. Function overloading as well, it's a complete one topic where we just declare a function with same name but with different data types. So that is called the function overloading. So this is all about the polymorphism. So next we have inheritance part. Inheritance, it's a capability of a class to inherit or device properties, or we can say that we just characterize the other classes. That means we just inherit the property from base class. Like suppose we have a base class, or we can say that the parent class. After that we have a derived class, or we can say that it's a child class. Child class inherit the property of base class, or we can say that child class use the property of base class. So that is called the reusability. So another name of inheritance is reusability. So we are having different types of inheritance, whether we are talking about a single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, or hybrid inheritance. Single inheritance means where we just have a one base class and second derived class. When we are talking about the multiple inheritance, on that time we have multiple base class, suppose base 1, base 2, and one child class. It's a multiple inheritance where we have multiple base class. Next, we have the multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance means where we have one base class, another we have derived class. Then after that, this derived class act as a base class for next derived class. Best example is grandparent, parent, and child. So this is a way to define the multi-level inheritance where we have a level 1, level 2, level 3. Grandparent, parent, and child class. Hierarchical inheritance, where hierarchical inheritance is the opposite of multiple inheritance. In multiple inheritance, we have multiple base class, one derived class, or we can say that a one child class. In hierarchical, we have one base class, multiple derived class, multiple. Multiple means minimum 2 derived class. Here same as it is, multiple base class, single derived class in the case of multiple inheritance. In the case of hierarchical inheritance, single base class, multiple derived class. Next is hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance, that means the combination of any two type of inheritance. Any two type of inheritance, whether it is single, whether it is single, multiple, single, single inheritance plus hierarchical inheritance. So this is a combination. Hybrid is a combination of any two type of inheritance. So before next going to next, I'm just going to launch the first pool question. If we are talking about the C and C++ difference, in the case of C, we are just talking about C is a top-down approach, and C++ is a bottom-up approach. Why top-down? Why bottom-up? Because in the case of C, we just declare our main function. We just declare our main function in after header files. So after header file, we just declare the main function. In the case of C, like suppose iostream.h, like I hash include iostream.h, then main function. In the case of C, in the case of C++, we first declare a class, then close the class, then main function. That means we just declare the main function after the before the end of the program. We just declare our main function, and whenever we just compile the program, compiler first goes to main function. Then suppose this is a class name ABC, we just all declare member function access specifier within this. Then after that, we just main function, just declaring the main function. Next step is after this, we just declare the object. That means we have to allocate the memory to the different object. So how? abc dot, sorry, abc space obj, where obj is the object. Obj is the object. With the help of this object, we call our member functions. Member functions like obj dot, suppose function. So with the help of dot operator, we just call all the member function with the help of object. So this is a way to create the object and call the object. So next we have next feature of C++ that is constructor and destructor. So constructor, again we can say that it's a special member function, and it's just if we are talking about the characteristics of constructor. So name of a constructor is same as that of the name of the class. In example, as shown in the PPT, where class name is A, where class name is A, and in public section, one function, they are having the name of same name as that of the class. Suppose in public section, we just declare a function. How we can declare the function? With the help of parentheses. So with the help of parentheses, we just declare the function. So here, in the case of constructor, we just declare a function name. Function name is same that of the name of the class. So this is called constructor. If we are talking about the destructor, we just, so basically if we can say that constructor is a for memory allocation, and destructor is for destroying the memory, for destructing. So when we are talking about destructor, we use one symbol. So this is a symbol for destructor, tilde, or you can say tilde, tilde, whatever you want to be say. So this is a symbol for destructor. So this is all about the features of C++. So next we have the stream classes. Next we have the stream classes. Or we can say that concept of stream. Stream, that means interface of whether we are talking about the input and output devices. So we have two operators. This is insertion operator. This one is extraction operator, because we use this operator, these two operators for programming, for C++ programming, insertion and extraction. How we will use insertion operator? For monitor, for printer, for disk file. How we will use extraction operator? With keyboard, disk file, How we will use insertion operator, how we will use extraction operator. Insertion operator we will use with the help of cout. How we will use insertion operator? Insertion operator we will use with the help of cin. So here one question is arise, what is cascading? So cascading operator, sometime 2 marks question will in your final exam. What is cascading operator? So cascading operator is multiple use of insertion or extraction operator in a single line. Multiple use of insertion operator or extraction operator in a single line is called cascading operator. How we will use these two operator in a single line? Like suppose I want to print the name. Suppose name is equal to in double quote and the value of name, or we can say that endl. So this is a way to use insertion operator in a single line. So here we will use insertion operator, here we will use insertion operator, and here. So this is called cascading operator. How we will use extraction operator in a multiple line? Suppose I want to add the value, enter the value of A and B and C. So here I just use 3 extraction operator. Again, this is called, or we can say that this is the example of cascading operator. So this is a way to use insertion operator as well as for extraction operator. So next we have the concept of streams. So basically a stream is a sequence of bytes. Sequence of bytes. We just declare iOS. Here is iStream. Here is OStream. And IOStream. Here one is stream buff, or we can say that it's a pointer. So these all are the concept of streams. So what is the use of iOS? So iOS is a specifically for abstract class, only for the inherit or an for object creation. If we want to describe the iOS, so it is a base class. It is a base class for all stream classes, whether we are using input or output. So basically it contains constants and member functions that are essentially for handling for IO operations, specifically for IO operations. So it also contains a pointer stream buffer. It also contains a pointer stream buffer to buffer object. Second, that is stream buff. What is the use of stream buff? So stream buff that provide an abstraction by talking to a physical device. So it maintains information on the state of stream buff, whether it is good, bad, or end of file. Next, we have the iStream. So iStream, it also derived class for iOS. Derived class for iOS. It adds or use the gets function, get line function, read function, or operator extraction for input. Next, that is OStream. OStream is specifically used for puts function or write something like put function or write functions. Why we are saying that it's a function? Because we just write the parenthesis after the put and write. Last, that is IOStream. So where IOStream, it's a derived class for IStream and OStream. That is specifically for input output stream. So before going to next, I am going to launch another pool question. So next topic, that is categories of manipulators. We have a manipulators. We use manipulator in C++ programming. So there are different types of manipulators. Basically, there are two types of manipulator. One is predefined parameterized manipulator. Second is predefined non-parameterized manipulators. So first we will learn about the predefined parameterized operators. So there are different types of predefined parameterized operator. One is set W, set precision. These are the functions. Third one is set fill. We use one another, that is width function. So what it is exactly? So when we are talking about the width function, so that means specifies a minimum number of columns you use to display the value. This is the use of width function. We will use these function in a programming. After introduce, I will create 2 or 3 program with the help of these operations or these functions. So width function that specifies the minimum number of columns that use to display a value. So if the number of character as an output items are less than the specified number of columns, then some columns will be left unused and will be filled by fill character, which space by default. So these unused columns can be leading or trailing depending upon the justification or justification of the value in the field. So by default, all the value are displaying at right specified or right justified. Right justified. So next we have precision function. So that specifies a number of digits to display after the decimal number. So suppose we have the decimal number 3.555. Suppose 3.555. But we want to just display the output only 3.5. On that time, we will use precision function. Then fill function. Fill function that specify the character used to fill the unused area. Suppose in width function, we use the width, suppose 10, but our value, if we want to enter, that is only 3 bit. So last, suppose these all are the 10 space, 10 value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is a 10 columns that we declare with the help of set width. In the value, after that we will use cout operation for A. So A is having a value of suppose 300, and 300 will display on this space after 7 columns, because I already told you it's a right justified. Okay, so after I'm just going to tell the example with the help of program. Suppose we will start program from main function, and first we will use clear screen function for clearing the previous program output. Second, that is we have to declare a variable. Suppose A is having a value of 300 and B is having a value of suppose we have only A's value. Suppose there is only single variable, they having a value of 300. After that, we just going to apply the fill function. So how it will work? Cout dot fill functions, we just declare the star in single quote because it's a character type variable. Then after that, cout dot width function, we just declare the width for that, that is 10. So after that, we just declare display the value of A. We just declare the value of A. Then what will happen? It will happen like suppose here we are going to close this function and get CH that for display the output screen. So what is the output for this function? Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So these all are the 10 columns. And first it will print the star value because we have the width function of 10. So declare width function before the fill function. First tell the what is the width of what is the maximum width of we have maximum width. Then after that just print the A's value that print the from right justified, it will print the value of 300. Then after that, what will happen with this space? For that, use fill function. So first that is width function, second that is print the value, then third fill function. So this is the way to use fill as well as the width function. So if we want to print this specific value for precision value, for that we will just use the precision function. So just I am going to launch the third poll question. Just wait. Again, these two questions are belongs from your current topic. So hurry up. Okay, now I'm going to stop sharing the result. So this is all about the today's section. So next lecture we will learn about the different flags, whether it is left or whether it is with the help of setf. So okay students, take care and bye.